Hello and welcome back. On the last episode, we talked to Banky and things got quite hot and steamy. Unsurprisingly so, I guess, for Alternia. But that leads us to our last friend for this Friendsim. The final friend and the final of the 18th volume. Surprisingly, they were, just like Cuprum and Falkle, they were two on the screen, so I guess we've got two friends stand on. Anyway. So yes, volume 18 of Endings Many. You crash-landed on a planet called Alternia. You staggered from the wreckage of your ship. You were desperate for information, for provisions, and possibly for a bit of medical attention, but most of all, you were desperate for friendship. Is what you could say, if you were written by a bunch of hacks who cared about the Aristotelian ideal of narrative unity. Possibly you could make some reference to being a circle, to the circle being a circle being complete, in a thoughtless and imbecilic manner. But we're all in this together, right? And we've learned and grown enough to know that something deep and dark and absurd is brewing beneath the surface. This really isn't about friendship anymore, is it? You've got enough friends. Now you need answers. You need... Oh, goddammit. This is just the intro screen. Time for Barzum and Baizli. You've gotten pretty good at the old friend-making game by now, but even an old hand palling around like you, or real platonic Lothario, has had bad nights sometimes. Tonight is one of those nights. It's getting close to the morning, and a new friend, not a new friend in sight. You've met new people, sure, but none of your conversations have panned out the way you wanted them to. Every interaction had come to a close with your friend count no higher than when you started, no matter how many compliments, offers to help, and offer other tried and true friending strategies you'd whipped out. You won't stand for it. You're determined to finish out the night with at least one more new friend, one more new buddy's name in your list of black friendship book, in your little black friendship book. Okay, then. But with the sun's about to rise, you have to admit you're cutting it a little close. As each minute ticks by, the sky is getting a little lighter, and possibly of dying, and the possibility of dying and as agonizing fiery death gets higher. Maybe it's for the best that you just pack it in and find somewhere to spend the day. You pick up your trusty palm husk and call up one of your many friends you already have to ask if you can crash. Hell, maybe Skylar will be up for sharing her recuperagon again. The soothing ooze is kind of grown on you, and sleeping next to Skylar's always makes you feel so comfy and safe. Turns out Skylar is more than down for you coming over. Time to make tracks. You turn tail and hurry in the direction of Skylar's digs, but it's not long until you run into a distraction. The distraction is in the form of a house. It's dark, crooked thing hulking close to the ground. Slated wood walls, sloping roofs, vines cling to it like dust, and cobwebs cling to the forgotten things in the attic. Something feels off about it. It possesses a certain energy and sends shivers down up your spine, making your hair stand on end. And an instinct deep in your gut is telling you to give it a wide berth. On the other hand, it's shelter. Skylar's place isn't a ways off yet, while the house is right here in front of you. It could be worth seeing if whoever lives here is willing to put up with you for a day. Time to save. First choice. Well, if we leave, then clearly we'll be going to Skylar's house and away from our friends, so clearly that's the wrong choice. Yeah, no, that's not happening. Did you just establish that this place gives you the heebie-jeebies? The heebiest of GBs. Plus, there's always the chance that the inhabitants will call you instead of help you. You're sticking to your original plan. Thank you very much. Firmly ignoring the house, you continue on your way. You make good progress for a while. The map app's saying you're heading in the right direction, except... Oh, what the hell? Why are you here again? Did you just take the wrong turn somewhere? Whatever. You're not going to dwell on it. Time is running out, and you need to get away from this stupid house pronto. You make sure you'll do it next time. This time you'll go... Time to save again. Oh no. Oh, there we go. I thought I wasn't going to save. Anyway. Let's go to the right. Okay. You split, breaking into a jog. The scenery flicks past as you pick up the pace. Urgency spurring you on. It's getting even lighter. It won't be long now. What? You check your palm husk again. You're right back where you started. Now, even though just a moment ago the map's GPS put you a decent distance away. This is ridiculous. There's obviously something weird going on, but the suns are creeping over the horizon. Time's up. There's nothing else for it. You make your way towards the house, even though everything's inside is screaming at you to stay away. Even though with every step you take in, your chest tightens and your hands tremble. By the time you reach to the door, you're shaking like a leaf. Adrenaline zings through you. You could choke on it. You want to run, but you force yourself to keep moving forward. It's a slow-motion race between you and the sunrise. At this rate, the sun will make it all the way into the sky before you can even knock. You drag yourself to the rest of the way, stumbling into the front step. The door knocker is an intricate yet grotesque thing, an undulating tongue lolling out on the set of sharp teeth, all in cast iron. You grasp the lumpy end of the tongue and bang against the door. Nothing. Crap. Maybe you'll get lucky and the door will be open. Out of options, you reach out and turn the doorknob. You feel the first licks of the sunlight against the back of your neck. Is it just you? Is your skin starting to blister? But today's your lucky day. The door opens. You should feel overjoyed at your life being spared. Instead, your focus is fully on how the roiling in your belly has bloomed into a full nausea. In the distance, inexplicably, is a peal of sirens, an instant whining noise that only continues getting louder. You shouldn't have come here, but it's not like you had any other choice. You might as well see what awaits you inside. But as soon as you cross the threshold, the world lurches and you pass out. You come to in a different room than the foyer, head ringing like someone just whacked it. When you move to sit up, there's a sound of skittering all around you, like hundreds of tiny insects are scurrying away to safety. Had they been roving the floor while you were knocked out? Gross. You prop yourself back onto your... you prop your back on your hands and take a look around. Your impromptu nap has done nothing to a sewage. Sewage. The deep sense of wrongness that you have about this place. But hey, maybe you've managed to sleep through the day. Maybe the sun has set again, so you can get the hell out of here. This sense of optimism is misplaced, probably, but it's not as if you can check. There are no windows. You cast your eyes around the room. Underneath the floral, peeling wallpaper, the walls are riddled with damp and mold. And on the other side of the room, an open door. Thank God. You aren't locked in, then. You can go look for somewhere else in this place that might have got a damn window. You step into a long, winding corridor. It's so cramped that you feel almost as though the walls are closing in. While it had been warm enough outside, In here as a chill sells over you, sinking deep into your bones. You're half convinced you'll never be warm again. Emanating from somewhere you can't see it is music. Tiny and rhythmic. Tinny and rhythmic. It's soon interrupted by a crackling noise, like someone trying to tune in to the correct station on the radio. Then one of the picture frames lights up. Looks like it was actually some sort of TV screen. Welcome. Welcome. We're glad that you're awake, and that you came to visit us. We've been really bored. This is in this stinky old house. It really sucked. We could have it just died from how boring it was. Two voices, one monotonous and so quiet you can barely hear it. The other shrill, dramatic, like the owners never listened. The meaning of the word indoor voice. The word indoor voice. Catching what the quieter person is saying isn't made any easier by the high-pitched giggling that starts up in the background whenever they start speaking. So hurry up and find us. We want to play a game. Gee. Why do those words give you such a profound sense of deja vu? The line goes dead. At the same time, the door pops open at the other end of the corridor. You're meant to go through it, you guess. You'd rather go somewhere else. Anywhere else. Other than through the door. But there's nowhere else to go. Or is there? Oh, another save. There we go. Page 14. Clearly we're gonna go search for another exit. No, there has to be something else here. Ignoring the voice's instructions, you examine the walls of the corridors instead. Soon enough, you notice something funny about one of the paintings. Its frame just seems to be thicker than the others, which strikes you somehow suspicious. Feeling along the bottom of the edges reveals a button. You push it. There's a groaning sound, and part of the wall folds itself away, revealing a tunnel of some sort. Ha! You knew it. Trapdoors. You're so focused on trying to make your escape that you rush through the opening without looking. If you had been more careful, you might have noticed that a very important thing. Past this doorway, there is no floor. Your feet meet thin air, sending you pitching downwards. Drat, you think. As you plunge towards the pit of knives beneath you, you reached a follower milestone shitter the other day, too. And you hadn't gotten around to bequeathing it to any of your friends in case something like this had happened. Your final regretful thoughts of your account, dusty and abandoned, with no one there to continue the update after you're gone. Well, that's not good. Anyway, nope, it's busted. Then, time to go back. Gotta go back. Hello, friends. Alright, anyway. Approach the house. There's nothing else for it. You make your way towards the house. Even though everything inside it is screaming at you to stay away. Even though with every single step you take, your chest tightens and your hands tremble. By the time you reach the door, you're shaking like a leaf. Adrenaline zings through you, and you could choke. You want to run, but you force yourself to move forward. Okay, so it's like slow motion. And like the sunrise, at this rate, it's repeated text, right? Isn't it? It is. Okay. Approach the door. Your wariness only intensifies once you set off down the hall, because the halls start bleeding. You've seen enough troll blood at this point to be able to recognize it. Multicolored streams ooze over the wallpaper and faded portraits lining the walls, collecting and congealing in sticky, viscous puddles on the floor. The narrow hallway becomes steeped in the stench of copper. You walk faster, but the stream of blood follows. The stream of blood follows. Follow you? Streams of blood follow you. Okay. Slooshing down from the ceiling as quickly as you walk. You reach the door, eager to get away from the grisly sight. You throw it open, but oh god, You hadn't considered what might be waiting for you behind it. What if these two shady characters plan to torture you, tie you up and steal your palm husk, texting embarrassing messages to your friends while you can only look in horror, helpless and unable to intervene? Anything but that. It's too dark to see anything. All you can do is fumble and feel around with your hands. Getting out of the room again is a no-go. The door swung shut behind you, and as soon as you step inside, you shuffle forward on wobbly legs. The floor feels unstable somehow, like it's going to open up and swallow you at any moment. Would it be a good idea to call out to see if anyone's here? You manage a feeble hello. Your voice echoes. Soft laughter reverberates back in response. You catch a glimpse of something from the corner of your eye, a flash of purple. There's a sensation of eyes on the back of your neck, watching you, but you can't discern where the other presence in the room is. Is there even one? If there even is one, sorry. You kind of hate this. All of the bad welcomes you've received, this one takes the cake. You have to get out of here. You try to gather your panicked thoughts together and to formulate a plan, but before you can do anything, a series of ropes appears, seemingly from nowhere, coiling tight around you and holding you down. You're finally here. We've been waiting for you. A light comes on. It's not warm. It's not the warm, burning rays of the sunlight. This room is windowless too. But a spotlight, which bright and harsh, it lights up a broad swath of the room, bleaching it white and sending long shadows stretching away from it. You see your captors more clearly now. Two purple kids, alongside their expressions, they look exactly the same. A manic glint sparkles in the eyes of one of them, as sharp as his razor blade grin. The other looks more hesitant, almost sad. Well, Baizli and Barzum. You're the alien, ain't you? You look weird. Your body's real weird. We wonder what colour your blood is, or how stringy and slimy your acid tubes are. They squirm around like slither beasts when we slice open the trolls' bellies. Are yours the same? You struggle against your bonds. You have no idea what acid tubes are, but you'd much rather they stay inside your body where they belong, thanks. You thought you'd move past the days where you had to serve as a torture muppet? All you needed was a few hours shelter from the sun, and if it's safe to go outside again, you'd really like to leave. This was the wrong thing to say, apparently. The twins leer at you disapprovingly. Or, well, one of them looks so disappointed that he might burst into tears. The other looks annoyed. No way. We told you. We've been so bored. Do you know what it is like to be alone with no one else to play with? For wipes? We might have each other, but we're never truly alone. That's what makes makes being us so great. But it's a little difficult to play pranks on someone who always knows what you're thinking and feeling. Wait, you thought Barzum was the quiet one and Baizli was the loud one, but it looks like you were mistaken. Or did they switch? If you weren't faced with the prospect of having your innards yanked out and played with by bloodthirsty children, you might have been more puzzled by their statements. As it stands, you have more pressing problems on your mind right now, so their words more or less fly over your head. You squirm harder, even though it doesn't do any good. In fact, it seems to make the twins sadder? You start with smatter. Stop trying to get away. It's always like this. Nobody ever wants to play with us. We hate it. Now hold still. You look at them beseechingly, trying to appear as small and helpless as possible. Maybe it's a little pathetic giving puppy dog eyes to literal children, but you lost track of your own dignity a long time ago. They're not really going to do this, right? A noise starts up. It sounds suspiciously like a chainsaw. And is it just you, or is the scent of raw meat in the air? What the hell is this coming from? Where the hell is this coming from? You continue straining your bonds, stomach clenching in fear, a bile rising at the back of your throat. They're not actually going to hurt you, right? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh. You wake up grasping. You wake up gasping, but you aren't strapped down anymore. You're in the same room that you were in at the beginning. What happened? The room hasn't changed since you've been gone. There's still only one way out. You really, really don't want to step through the door again, but what else can you do? You step through the door. There's the radio crackling again. Welcome. We're glad that you're awake. That little greeting goes on like this, like it had before. A pre-recorded message, maybe? Your heart pounds as you step through the second door. You're hoping you'll be a little able to sidestep the ropes this time, but instead of getting tied up, you trip forward into a vat of what feels like glue. You're lucky enough to turn your face away from the stickiness, so your nose is filled still above the surface, so you can breathe. For now anyway, but you can't move. You're finally here. We've been waiting for you. You're acting like this is the first time all over again. What is this nonsense? Are they messing with you? You already met mere minutes ago. No, we would have remembered. Meeting a weirdo like you. Stop trying to trick us. Then everything goes black for a third time. Here you are again. Welcome. Are they for real? This time you're shoved into a box. You're pretty sure you pass out while you're in the middle of getting buried alive. You come into the room you were beginning to think of as yours yet again. You pass out 5 times, 10. You begin to lose count. You never pass out at the same point during the twins' shenanigans, but it inevitably happens. You always end up right back where you started. The worst part is that while your conversations with the twins stay the same, the way they trap you changes. You get tossed upside down from the ceiling, dunked into a water tank, scrabbling to get out while your lungs begin to burn from lack of air. Every time you black out before you can die, but you've almost died dozens of times by now. It doesn't really really beginning to stress you out. You have to be stuck in some sort of time loop. You see this sort of thing in movies all the time, and everyone knows that movies are the best points of reference for one's actual life. The hero wakes up to the strains of an old pop song playing on the radio and reminisces over their childhood journals, which sends them back in time where they have to stop the crime before it happens. Or maybe you're thinking of a different movie. Anyway, your point is that you have to find a way out of the loop. Hopefully you won't have to do anything too wild, like stab your past self and throw your own your own bloody corpse out of the window. That would really blow. Unfortunately, you can't help but seem to find any clues indicating what you should do next. You always pass out. The twins are always excited to play with/torture you. They don't seem to be aware of anything that's happening. Any of this is happening, from what you can tell. After around 20 or 20 something or other, you had enough. You've had it. Enough is enough. You can't take it anymore. You can't take any more giggling, any more of that hard damn floor, any more excruciating games. You might not be any closer to figuring out what you to do, but you have to try something. Oops. Well, guess we're picking this path. There's one thing you've been doing wrong. making all this about escape. You've been so preoccupied with with not getting sliced into pieces with knives and everything, that you've lost track of what's truly important. The word echoes in your heart when you rise at dusk and pulses through your bloodstream during the rest of your waking hours until it's time to go to sleep. The word that kicked off every single narrative you've been starting thus far: friendship. You'll do things differently this time. You're going to bring yourself to truly care about these creepy clown children, goddammit, even if it's the last thing you do. And with the way things are, going, that very well could be. Their MO is oddly benign this time, a tickling machine. Fortunately, it's a little difficult for you to talk to them through all the laughter. What are those noises they're making? I think they're trying to tell us something. Miraculously, the tickling stops. You wheeze, trying to catch your breath, hoping to God you haven't peed. You've managed not to wet yourself out of fear until now. It'd be just the worst to have broken your streak due to laughing too hard. What is it about climbs? What is it about clowns and divesting your body of waste? After assuring yourself that your underwear is still blessedly dry, you ask, if they kill you, won't they be alone again? How is that beneficial for anyone? They'll be bored and you'll be dead. Which you'd rather really not. Their creeping saturnine smile transforms into matching expressions of confusion. Barzum puts a finger to her chin, cocking her head to one side, as if in deep thought, almost like a puppy. Under any other circumstances, you might even consider it cute. What are you talking about? We don't want to kill you. Maybe just cut you a little. You'll heal right back up again. Don't be such a wiggler. Some of the things they've tried to inflict you would have definitely taken more than your regular human healing functions to recover from. But wait, you think back to Romelli talking about a whole club in her side of, and acting like it was no big. Taking a whole club in a side act like it was no big. It was no big. She said something about the higher blood colours being able to take more of a beating too. Are the twins assuming that's the case for everyone? God, this is what happens when all the adults in the society go off planet and leave a bunch of zoo animals to bring up their kids. Oh well, trolls also solve most of their problems by killing each other. You can't discount that either, you suppose. You take a closer look at the twins. There isn't any malice in either of their faces. The only emotion you can discern is idle curiosity. You decide to take this as an encouragement. You explain that, no, you won't heal up from being sliced open, or from an on-fire scuttlebuggy being flung at your head. Because you're human, and humans heal differently from trolls. Well, differently from hybrid trolls, at least. You even use your best babysitter voice with good measure, for good measure. You feel like you're giving a stern talking about the importance of taking care of one's toys so that they don't break. Instead, you propose, why don't you be friends? You can all play together, instead of being the subject of their torment. They'll all be able to play with you for longer that way too. They give you a strange look. Friends? What's that? Do people not agree to be their playmates very often? No. Usually everyone runs in the other direction. So we have to catch them. Or trick them. That explains a lot. You think you're beginning to understand. If they let you down, you can try and show them what you have in mind. They do. They actually fear you. They turn all the lights on in the room too, so you can finally see everything in it. It's bigger than you expected. A set up like a circus tent. A wire is suspending along the ceiling. A person-sized target board rotates at dizzying speeds against the back wall. Juggling clubs, knives, scarves, and the other props are piled across the floor. You recognize a few of the machines they had inflicted on you before. It's pure chaos. So, what else do they do with all this stuff? They're still staring at you as if they aren't quite sure of how to deal with you engaging them of your own volunteer. They aren't quite sure They're staring at you if they aren't quite sure how to deal with you engaging with them voluntarily. You're feeling pretty attentive yourself. The whole interaction seems incredibly precarious. You're afraid that if you make a misstep, you'll end up back in the tickling rack again. This isn't ours. We just found it when we got here. But it does look like a lot of what's in our hive. We can do shows and stunts. All kinds of cool stuff. Crap. Even when they're not threatening you, the way they talk in chorus like that freaks you out a little. In perfect unison, like they're one voice instead of two. You shake off your fears and suggest that they show you a little something. They seem to like that idea. Excitedly, they scurry over to the target board. One twin stands against it, while the other picks up a handful of throwing knives. You're anxious. You don't exactly want them to rough each other up instead of you, but Barzum just throws the knives in graceful arcs. They surround Baizli perfectly, barely missing him. You gasp, your mouth is a perfect O. The twins seem pleased with themselves, laughing together like they're sharing a secret. You think that's impressive? Watch this. They execute a sick flip of a pair of trapeze above a bed of swords. Make a daring escapes from one of the contraptions they trapped you in. They move similarly to how they speak, perfect in tandem with each other. With the variety of obsessions you've seen among your friends, it figures that it would only be a matter of time until you met someone who made a hobby of risking their lives. It's not too out of the compared to the cage fighting, you suppose, or collecting saucy Eastern Alternian figures. You could have just escaped from the traps that we put you in earlier, you know? Why didn't you? You laughed nervously. You hadn't exactly had much practice, and maybe it would have been easier if you had someone else to help. You look at the two of them pointedly. You didn't even realize siblings were a thing among trolls, let alone twins. Sibling? What's that? You know, someone who shares Lucis with share a Lucis with. Someone who you've hatched with from the same clutch. Or are you phrasing that right? We share a Lucis. We share everything. We didn't just hatch from the same clutch. We hatched from the same egg. We were going to be a single troll, but we split into two. Just our bodies, though. Our minds are still one. One person, two bodies. We're one and the same. Okay, maybe siblings aren't a thing on Alternia, after all, but being literally the same person is quite a bit different from a human concept of twins or siblings. Somehow this leads to them telling you about a number of exploits they have had with some of the others kids in the neighborhood. One story led to another. One story led to another, and soon you're recounting some of your own adventures too. They practically love your attempt at giving an impression of Nikki, clapping and crowing as you get into a dramatic power stance and flex your flimsy muscles. You can't help but feel a little proud of yourself. You feel like the guy from Jurassic Park who walked into the Velociraptor den be all chill, my dudes. And they actually listened to him. Besides, there's something great about making kids laugh, even kids who were trying to murder you less than an hour ago. The twins are in the middle of talking about a prank they played that they found hilarious, and that you've been trying hard not to grimace in horror at, when you feel it, a certain change in the air. Didn't they mention they were stuck here? Did we? Yeah, yes we did. When we try to go out the door, some sort of force pushes us back. You're the first other person we've seen since we got here. You have a hunch that that might have changed. Why don't you all give it a try again? They look at you skeptically. If you want. It's not going to be any different though. You just tell them to trust you. You look at the front door. The twins are crowding you from either side, clinging onto your arms and edging so close it's like they're trying to burrow into you. Ready? They nod. You push against the door. It opens, and you breathe in the cool evening air. Not so fast. We've gone this far before. But we won't be able to go any further. You'll see. You take one step, then another. As you look beyond the grounds of the house, you see things you hadn't when you first got here. Mountains in the distance, other houses before, or you could just see with shrubbery. You pick up the pace. The house falls behind you, disappearing into the fog. Whoa! You did it. You actually did it. We can finally leave. They swoop in to grab you, hugging you hard. The curved horns of their masks almost stab you in the cheeks. These things are a bit of a hazard when the wearers only come up to about where your chest is. They keep talking before you can get a word in, pulling you forward and shuffling you along between them. It looks like you were right. It wasn't just enough to save yourself. You had to save them, too. You don't know how, but the key was making this a little patch of the universe obey the rules of reality. Once it was friendship all along. What? Haha, what? You should have seen your face. You were crap your pants, terrified. Game tubes. Yeah, I'm assuming so. It depends. You heave a sigh as their incessant giggling surrounds you, like so many playful ghosts. Yes, you see, very clever. They were the ones who behind all that nonsense, weren't they? You started guessing somewhere towards the end. You wiggle your hands vaguely all the time stuff. They sure scared you, all right. No. That wasn't us. We were talking about the bloody walls and creepy sounds. None of that was real. That was us. That was all us. That was all. Chuckle Voodoos. We're the best at Chuckle Voodoos. We got you so good. They both bounce beside you excitedly. You blink down at them. You have no idea what the heck Chuckle Voodoos are, but you can only guess that it's some sort of illusionary thing. So they didn't have anything to do with time messing up? Folding in on itself? No. We told you. We were trying to get out of that stupid house. For wipes. Maybe even Perigee. Did you really think that was our hive? Our place is so much cooler than that dump. Visit their actual hive? You have your reservations about that, but you can't find it in yourself within you to say no as they eagerly pull you along. One twin tugging your hand and the other looping an arm in yours. You look back at the house one last time. You have no clue whether the twins are lying or if they're telling the truth. What really caused what happened here? But right now, you're content enough knowing that you'll never have to see this place ever again. I'm assuming there's supposed to be CG here. Do you want to understand? Excuse me? Well, I think this is a good point to leave off, and hopefully I can we'll see where this goes next time. Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you had fun, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.